Can you call the roll to establish your quorum? Happy New Year.
President.
She said present. She can't hear, so you have to talk loud.
Present. Who said present?
Thank you. Mr. Kelly
He's not in the
is
meeting
not
yet.
in the meeting yet.
Yeah.
Mr. Cove,
Present.
Mrs. Palestrini is absent, and Mr. Robinson.
Here. Here.
Okay, now that we have a physical quorum, I'll need to entertain a motion to allow electronic attendance this evening for Mr. Kelly.
So moved.
Seconded.
Questions, comments? Can you call the roll, please, Ms. Clerk?
Mr. Cove,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor. Aye.
Yeah, coffee was gone. All right, so welcome to the meeting, Mr. Kelly. Happy New Year.
Present.
Just
Hello, thank you.
So that everyone's aware, we will be calling a roll call vote on every vote this evening because we have electronic attendance. With that being said, I'll entertain, please everybody rise if you're able, for the Pledge of Allegiance. No, I think Trustee Coe can lead the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Hello, everyone. Do we have anybody signed up to speak tonight?
We'll have no public comments.
No public comments. Okay, before you have the meeting minutes for December 18th, 2025. Please review them at this time. Are there any changes to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as they are presented.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Cove,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor. Aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have the accounts payable in the amount of $2,366,754.69. It's a small amount, but I think that there's probably
There's a land
a
payment.
land payment in there.
I hope there is.
There is.
There's not, there won't be.
Please review them at this time. Staff is waiting on bated breath to answer any questions you may have. There are any questions? There are 24 pages, so I'll give you a little bit of time.
While we're waiting, just a question about when the building will open. Is that appropriate now?
The Public Works Building?
We're still on the same schedule, end of February.
End of February?
Yep. And I will make sure as soon as we have a solid date, I'll get that date out for the ribbon cutting for all you guys. Just
Awesome.
want to make it okay.
Awesome. I'd like to go take a tour.
Mm-hmm.
Just call Mary Jo.
Well,
She'll take
I want to wait till it's done though.
Okay, you got it.
I'd like to see.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the regular accounts payable.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Cove,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor. Aye. And Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. New business. Good evening, Mrs. Stevens.
Good evening, Mr. President. So we have resolution approving a professional service agreement with EEI for the well number 10 and 13 media replacement project in the amount of $29,999.
So,
Sam?
Mr. Paulson's on the line. What do you got for us tonight, sir?
Steve Dennison put together the agenda outline for you. So the media in the treatment plant, the 4 vessels that are in there is overdue for replacement, and one of them has started to leak and it has had to be taken offline. So we'd like to get those done as soon as possible. It's also doing it now would get us in line with when well 13 comes back online as well. So I think Lori could probably speak to the budget aspect. I think it was budgeted for next fiscal year, but we'd, like to get the design done so that we can get it going right away in the spring and done by middle of summer.
Any questions from the board? Thank you, Mr. Paulson. I'll entertain a motion. Oh,
Sorry, I have one question for Mr. Paulson. You said one of the wells, can everybody hear me okay first? I want to make sure I didn't.
absolutely.
Check.
Never sounded better.
Mr. Paulson, you said one of the media is overdue for or they are overdue for, maybe both are overdue for replacement. One has started leaking. Why are we past due on getting these done? Do we have a routine maintenance schedule of when these are done so that we don't have to shut down wells because we have something leaking that's past due?
Yeah, there's 4 of the treatment facilities or vessels that the water runs through. The answer is ideally, yes, you would keep to a tighter schedule, but for budget reasons, this was scheduled when it was scheduled. We did do the one 2.5 years ago. We did the other water treatment plant, which was also in the same time frame, just beyond the period when it should be routinely replaced. So we are trying to get back on track and then keep a schedule on these.
And then as part of the design work, do you institute a date or time frame of when the next replacement would be due for each well as you do these?
We could do that. We could add that as a recommendation.
I'm not saying to add anything. I just didn't know if that's part of the design work when you go into a job like this. If you say, hey, we're going to replace a filter at this point, it has a lifespan of X, you're going to need to replace it at this future date so that future budgets can plan for this.
Yeah, it's in the it's in the master plan. So we do show ongoing maintenance in the master plan for the length of the master plan when we did it. It's a couple of years ago now, but that had maintenance projected out for 20 years or so. So as the master plan is updated, that's where we would keep track of these items and then shift things into the budget as appropriate from the master plan.
Yeah, sorry, that's the let me rephrase my question. When we do a bid to have EEI do these individual projects, whether it's this or other projects where there would be a known maintenance or replacement schedule, is EEI responsible for providing that as a part of these contracts?
Meaning what? Trustee Kelly, are you speaking specifically like we're going to replace this media and it has a lifespan of X amount of years?
Well, so what I'm trying to get at is if we're hiring EEI to do the design and to do the work for a media replacement in this case, is part of that work informing the appropriate staff, whether it's something with streets, if it's a streets project, or water and sewer, if it's a water and sewer project, of if there is a known maintenance schedule or period, is that a part of the bid and communicated to staff so that they can prepare and plan accordingly in the future?
Yes, that is part of the process. Part of the project manual is that the manufacturer, the contractor, does provide a maintenance manual. The schedule, the maintenance items are in that manual that is then reviewed with staff and turned over to staff.
Okay, so that would be a part of this bid then?
Yes, sorry, I didn't quite understand your question at first.
No, not a problem. All right, thank you, sir.
Any other questions or discussions? I'll entertain a motion approving a resolution approving a professional services agreement with EEI for well number 10 and 13 media replacement.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
And Mr. Cole?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
We have a resolution approving the release of a letter of credit for the Mineralic project.
Mineral Act.
Thank you.
Federal,
So what's, they've done what they needed to do? Is that what this is about?
Correct. They completed the improvements. They had a stormwater permit. They had to provide best management practices. And part of the project or the permit is in a 3-year maintenance and monitoring period. And so they asked to have, instead of holding that in the bond, they asked to have the bond released, which is appropriate for the work being done, and provide a deposit to the village to cover that remaining $4,500 for the 3-year maintenance and monitoring period for the rain gardens. So I believe the village has received that. So it's appropriate to release the entire amount of the letter of credit.
Any questions about this or to Mr. Polson or staff? I'll entertain a motion approving the release of a letter of credit.
so
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Fodor. Aye. Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Coe.
Aye.
And Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, Trustee Palestrini was here because we had passed ordinances or amendments to our winter parking ban at one period of time last winter. And there were a lot of changes made that night, and I've watched the tape several times, and Trustee Palestrini was very concerned that we would miss something and that we should wait on this and bring it back. And we decided that we weren't going to bring it back, that we had it all under control. Well, it turns out we didn't. So Trustee Palestrini was correct, and I wanted to give her due. So when you watch the tape, you'll hear. But we made changes made changes to the winter parking ban as it was, where there was a 2-inch rule, if you guys remember, that we removed from the parking ordinance, and we left the winter parking ban in place. Okay, even though Public Works and the Police Department requested that we remove the winter parking ban, this board wanted to keep it in place. What had happened is somehow we ordered signs that went up clearly communicating our wishes, and the staff understood what it was. Time went on. When it got to the codifier, the overnight parking ban was effectively lifted. That's not what this board voted on. So there was a Scribner's error in the ordinance as it went to the codifier. So what's before you tonight is exactly what we voted on back 10 months ago. And we need an approval of that to move forward, because what is in our code right now is not reflective of what this board voted on. And so there's 2 ways we can approach this. The way that this came up, full disclosure, was the police department posted on social media updated parking regulations, including language of which the overnight parking ban was lifted because they pulled out the information directly from our code. That's not what we voted on. We voted, and I have the totals here, we voted to keep the parking ban in place over the winter. We just removed the 2-inch rule, meaning that if there was a snow event, you had to move your car for any time of day, not a 2-inch total. So this happened, and we caught it right before our first snowstorm 10 months ago.
What was the date of that meeting?
I know, not off the top of my head. We can pull it, the chief will pull it.
It was like March or
But it was like March or April-ish that we passed this.
I remember because it was
No.
December.
It was in December.
December, so it was a year ago.
Yes.
Sorry, the months all run together.
That's what we were getting already into the snow season and concerned about changing it while in it.
But at the end of the day, when it went to the codifier, the language was irreflective of what this board voted on. So we can correct it by amending this Scribner's error, if you will. But I really wanted to have the conversation, do we do that or do we leave it as is? And the reason I say do we leave it as is when we discovered that this issue had happened, we had a conversation at the staff level, okay, this is what happened. Now how do we fix it, right? And then now that we've got the residents all confused, how do we enforce it? And so the police department has been, can you help me through this, what's the terminology that we use? But not been lax in enforcement, but we really haven't been.
We've been actively assisting. I'll say it this way: when there's been snow events, we've been actively assisting the streets department, like we always do, with making sure that the streets are clear of parked vehicles. However, on a nightly basis, we have not been enforcing the ordinance as passed last year because that's not what was published. What was published was a lifting of the ordinance. But then when we rolled that back, then what was published was with that overnight parking ban in place. And so we had a big discrepancy, and we did put out, and I'll take responsibility for putting that out, that there was a change because I looked at what was published and I went with that. So we haven't been enforcing the overnight parking ban across the board. We just go out when the weather's there and help remove them. The signs are still up with the ordinance the way it was passed last December. The new signs.
Right, and the signs that are posted are correct. It was the language that was sent to the codifier that was inaccurate.
Yes.
So tell us what the two options are.
So the options are adjust the code that's in our book to be reflective of what the board voted on, which was to leave the overnight parking ban in place from November 1st until April 30th, right?
No, April 1st.
April 1st.
Okay.
Okay.
Leave the parking ban.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what is in front of you tonight, which was essentially bring the parking ban back onto our books. What's on our books right now is there is no winter parking ban overnight unless there is a snow event. Meaning that if there's a snow event of any kind at any time of day, no matter how many inches or anything, meaning that if the trucks have to go out, get your car off the street. Otherwise you can be ticketed.
It's a weather event, actually.
It's a weather,
not just snow.
Weather event.
So ice too.
So that was on the books.
So that is on the
right
books at the current time.
I think the overnight parking should be put back in place. One, because if it's snowing, the cops, they ain't over at the coffee shop. They're out busy with accidents and people in ditches. They don't need to spend their time. And the streets department has enough mileage on each route to cover. They don't need to go around cars and then call the police, then later on go back.
So, in speaking with staff, people are moving their cars off the street when we have the snow events.
Some.
The weather events. The problem that exists is when. So we have a conversation with the school district, right? About the school district, about the false alarm calls all the time, and the fact that it ties up officers. We are causing more issues for our police department on days that it doesn't snow, in the time that it takes for them to go around and write tickets for people parking on the street overnight because there's no snow on the ground, but they can't park on the street in the wintertime at all. And there's some people that, don't have driveway spaces and that kind of stuff. We have more issues in creating work for our police department on days that it doesn't snow than when it does, if that makes sense. And it's the same argument. I feel like we're trying to hold the school district accountable for quote unquote wasting our police's time, right? By like false alarm calls over and over and over again. But we have no issue sending our cops out writing tickets for people to park on the street when there's no snow. And so those are the two sides of the argument, and that's the only reason I'm bringing it up today. If it's the will of the board that we put the parking ban back, we've already had a conversation at the staff level, that this winter is kind of a wash, right? Because of how it was communicated and that kind of stuff. And then we communicated fresh in the, we just kind of let things be and leave it up to the discretion of the officers this winter because there was a communication issue in all of this. And then next year they go back and they start enforcing the overnight parking ban. So, I agree with you though, Trustee Coates, like it is an issue when they're on the street, when they're plowing. But the overarching issue is when they're not out there plowing and the amount of time that the officers have to be writing tickets and getting cars to move that really have no reason to be moving. If that makes sense. And there is a procedure, we did, that was another conversation we had at the board, was give, because that we wanted, this board wanted the parking ban to remain in place, give the residents an ability to request on-street parking for overnight guests and that kind of stuff, as long as it was inclement, and as long as it was clear, right, and not inclement. And so the chief has done that. He's got a frontline application, and it's linked through everything, and so you can literally go onto our website and request, or you can call non-emergency dispatch and request and let them know that you're going to have a car parked out in front of your house over the evening and that kind of stuff.
Wasn't this originally brought up because of Lakewood? If I remember right, I believe it was mainly Lakewood, that they don't have the parking availability in that subdivision, and that's why this was brought up.
Sure.
Sidewalks are being blocked and. Yeah. So could I ask, and I'm guessing Dave might be the best shot at an answer for this, but he's not here. How many nights on an average year are the plows out plowing snow? 20, 10?
That's hard to call because
I know, but like if you look over the last 10 years, you could probably get a decent.
Well, there's more nights during the winter time that they're not out versus than they are.
Right.
I know that for a fact. And so they have been, in talking with the individual public works employees and Dave, he feels, I will say he speaks for public works, they feel the parking ban serves them no purpose. Because the people that are going to that park in front of their houses are parking in front of their houses, whether there's a ban or not.
Regardless.
And they're doing it because they have no other place to park their car, and then they have to get the police involved. The bigger issue is, again, I don't really feel, based on the conversations that I've had with staff, and I think that Doug can echo this as well, and Mary Jo, that we have an issue when it's snowing. We have issues when it snows, right, with cars being on the street. That's the cost of doing business, quote unquote. You know what I mean? That's normal for them. The issue really becomes, oh yeah, I was distracted by that. The issue becomes is how much time are we taking our police officer able to do it. Jimmy, you have to mute your microphone.
Sorry, everybody.
yeah.
So, but the issue really becomes is how much time we're taking the police officers off the street when it's not snowing.
So what's a better option for you? Would you say no overnight parking ban? We just enforce when there's a 2 inches or more weather event, or overnight parking ban? What's a better?
Well, the option, that's a, so the option, so the,
Yes.
the 2 inches would be gone. It would just be when there's a weather event. And no overnight parking ban. That honestly was my recommendation. That's what we did last year.
Or the other option would be overnight parking ban.
Well, it's any weather event, because that covers during the day,
Right?
plus overnight parking ban, or just leave it as any weather.
Okay, I'm with you.
I'm fine with any weather event.
Yeah, I think that's.
I am as well, because there's more nights where there is not going to be a weather event than there is, and why are we taking officers to deal with that?
It's also, if I could just add, there's 2 times a year when we get a ton of phone calls complaining from the residents, and one of them is overnight parking, and the other one is ATVs and mini bikes in the spring. But this is the single most complained about thing that we experience from the police department. It's not, not that we get complaints about people not being able to park on the street and the associated parking tickets that come with enforcing the overnight parking ban, the combination of the two.
I was gonna ask, do you get complaints from the general public, like, oh, there's cars all over the street, they're not following the ban, or I got a ticket, why am I getting a ticket, there's no snow?
Far more the latter.
Okay.
And then, or I've got, I have 3 cars and I can't put it in the garage,
Right.
and I have to park on the street, and what am I supposed to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with the weather event only.
Me too.
And that would eliminate then there would be no overnight ban.
Correct.
I'm fine with that.
Go ahead.
So it's park as you will unless there's weather.
If there's weather, get it off the street, any time of day.
That's what we're all saying, right?
Yep. Right.
I think though, that being said, that's gonna need to be like, it's enforced, like, you're on the street, there's a weather event, here's your ticket. Like, there's no like, okay, next time.
And it doesn't matter if it's a half inch or 2 inches or 20 inches. It's get it off the street.
You gotta get off the street so the plows can get through.
So what we will do with this conversation would be, I would entertain a motion, don't do anything yet. I would entertain a motion to withdraw this, right? Because we're not gonna pass it, we're not gonna change it. What's on the books now is exactly what we're talking about by accident. And what we do need to do, or staff does need to do, is the signs coming in and out of the subdivisions are inaccurate. So that tomorrow morning, they're gonna have to come down. And then we're gonna have to get updated ones.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave them up until we have updated ones.
Mr. Kelly?
I just have, I guess more of a procedural question. It is on the record that we voted on this in the past and what the vote was, whether we individually agree or disagree with the way the vote went, the board made a decision. That is on the record. That is what the official motion and result was, as in our minutes and as on the video recordings. As you stated, there was then a Scrivener's error that put the wrong thing into the ordinance, but it doesn't change the vote or what the board decision was. So for us, my question is more from, I guess, a legal standpoint. Because of an official board motion was made, and whether we say ratified, I don't know the right word, so apologies, and notated in the minutes as well as in the video recording, don't we have to make a motion to change what that vote was to keep it the way it is in the ordinance? Because the ordinance was identified as a Scrivener staff error, not that the board wants to amend to make this new thing.
So what I'm understanding and what everybody's not, you probably can't see, but they're all nodding their heads. So can we, to your point, can we withdraw this? Can we have the correct ordinance presented to us so we can formally adopt it so that it matches, so that the vote is legitimate?
Correct.
Can we do that the next meeting?
Correct.
So nothing changes till now.
So if this is on here, you have to vote to deny this or whatever that is.
Or can we, here's the question.
You'd move the table.
I have a question. Can we adopt this and remove the overnight parking ban section? Does that get us into the same boat as we were in before? If we were to modify what's here, because the only thing that's different is that overnight parking ban language. If we adopt this tonight with that section with the overnight parking ban gone, that accomplishes what we're looking to do, which is legitimize the vote and put the ordinance correct into the books. Is that not, or would you prefer that we table it or withdraw it and then you bring it back? I'm asking for your
So
guidance.
I would prefer that we go ahead and either table it or withdraw it, and then let us bring back the corrected ordinance next time. I would like to stay in, always doing that, not making changes at this
And
level.
I understand it, that's why I'm asking.
So I would
for your
table it,
guidance.
please.
And then, with that, does the board have an issue with staff ordering corrective, signage?
No.
So that this way, when this is all said and done, we can get the signs out and everything's the way it needs to be.
No issue.
Is that fair?
No issue from me.
Or would you prefer we wait for the ordinance to be
It's gonna
passed?
take a while to get the signs made. They're not just,
That's what I'm
they're
saying.
not sitting around waiting for us.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to table this conversation, or table this ordinance. Not indefinitely, I just motion to table it because we'll bring it back under old business in the next meeting.
Can I ask a question before we go? And maybe this doesn't apply, or it's not relevant, but like, let's say I leave my car on the street, there's a weather event, and it gets hit by a plow. We have great plow drivers. A mailbox has been hit before. Let's say my car gets hit. Who assumes that liability? Me, because I'm...
The mailbox or the car?
No, my car. Me, because I'm in violation of the ordinance now, and it got hit by a plow?
No, the village.
I mean, it's just, it would be treated just like an accident.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You get $35.
Get 35.
We pay.
You get $35.
Yep,
Yeah. Remember when?
in installments.
15? I got the-
After 7 weeks.
Well,
Okay, sorry. We're tabling, well, there's a motion to table, right?
No, nobody made it.
no, so I will entertain a motion, to table the ordinance approving text amendments.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call vote, please, Ms. Clerk.
Mrs. Fodor,
Hi.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Hope,
Hi.
and Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
I appreciate your, the board's indulgence on this, and again, I apologize that this had happened, and I do want to give credit to Ms. Palestrini, because we should have sent it back like we're doing now. But we're not going to be doing that in the future because Ms. Seehausen will let us, so. Anyway, what's next?
Okay, we have an ordinance approving the purchase of filters for the wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $45,936. We are requesting that you consider waiving the bidding fees. In talking with legal, you know, this is supplies, not a project. And so, you know, the state statute is that, you know, we can do the waive the bidding for this. Our ordinance makes us come to you guys for this. So I'm gonna look at that with Aaron, but something wrong?
No, I think that they're looking at another ordinance.
Yeah.
So you want to waive the bidding requirements because these are supplies and it's not a project.
Correct.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Seehausen about this process or the purchase? I'll entertain a motion approving the purchase of filters for the wastewater treatment plant.
So,
Second.
Questions or comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Hope,
I,
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
and Mrs. Fodor.
Hi.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next up, we have an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Community Unit School District 300 for the use of the police training simulator. This is a renewal of an already existing IGA. And I'll let the chief talk about it.
Hey, this is the intergovernmental agreement for the school district SROs district-wide to use our training simulator. And then for the park, or for the school district to compensate us for that. We are part of that because we have 2 school resource officers. But this gives us a good way to offset some of the costs of the annual maintenance on the equipment.
Nothing changes other than the dates.
Is this being utilized by the school district? Really? Great.
Anyone have any other questions?
I just have one, Chief. just to make sure this covers it, because I think it's a great thing that we're doing this. The SROs in the schools are technically employees of their local police departments, correct? So do we need an intergovernmental agreement with those police departments or villages or cities or communities? Or does the intergovernmental agreement with District 300 cover an SRO who's technically an employee of another police department?
Is that more a question for you or for me?
Like carpenter cell and.
As far as, I mean, when we enacted this, we had our legal team, prepare the agreement and, it was a question that was never asked. And I think as long as, the school district is offsetting all these salaries by about 75%, throughout the district. So I think that this allows us to make an agreement to allow the school resource officers to use the equipment, but not the entire police department. And so I think that it's best done this way to avoid any.
I just wasn't sure, since they're not technically a District 300 employee, to make sure they're covered so they can use it. Because like I said, I think it's a great thing. I just want to make sure this does cover them, even though they're not technically employees.
Does the district pay for some of the SRO's salary?
Yes.
Yeah. So then I think that-
75%.
and I think that's.
They're cutting a check to the village though, Trustee Robinson, not to the SRO.
They would have the IGAs with those.
Right, okay.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Kelly? Are you comfortable?
Yeah, if legal and chief are good with it, I'm good with it. I just wanted to make sure. I something I thought about. I'm like, wait, they're not actually employees, so just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion approving the IGA with District 300.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Third.
Questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Coe?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Fodor?
Aye.
And Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next, under new business, we have a couple of discussions. Since we were talking about parking, I figured that we should talk about downtown parking as well. So as you guys may be aware, we have a lot of businesses downtown, and it's a wonderful thing. We have, I'll say, limited parking, but we have more parking now than we did in the past. But we've had several conversations with many business owners, almost every single one of them, about it's a really unique conversation in the fact that employees or owners of businesses are parking on State Street all day.
And we have an ordinance in place, don't we? Forbidding them to do that.
No, we don't.
Well, we need, well,
That's what we're talking about tonight. And so years ago, when we had many businesses, before we had zero businesses, and now we have many businesses again, there was always an understanding amongst business owners downtown that if you had employees or like you owned the business, you parked in the lots, and then you left the spots out in front of your businesses for customers, right? That's not what is happening now, and it's creating challenges for our residents and other businesses. So the conversation that we look back in the books, to your point, Trustee Coth, and what we had at the time, we had a lot of we had 2 or 3 30-minute parking spaces.
Right.
30-minute parking spaces spattered throughout downtown. Mm-hmm. And so as we got to talking about this at the staff level, I said, well, why don't we involve the board? Because I don't want to go putting parking meters downtown, but I was thinking something along the lines between like 7 o'clock and 7 o'clock, so 7 to 7, like 2-hour parking downtown. And because that allows you to park and then go have something to eat and then come, and then if you want to come, like, that's why I wanted to have a conversation with the board, right? It becomes an enforcement challenge for the police department, yes, but if you post the signs, a lot of people will follow the rules and there won't be that big of an enforcement challenge. But that should stop business owners and employees from parking right out in front of their stores. So
can we legally pass an ordinance that any business owner or employee cannot park on State Street?
I don't know how we could specify without having to get, like, everybody have a sticker that says that they're not a business owner.
I don't think we should go down that path, to be honest, in my opinion. I mean, for a couple reasons. One, well, first of all, if I want to go watch the game at Copper Barrel, I'm going to be there longer than 2 hours. And if I got a nice spot out front, good for me. I got a good shot, but I'm going to be in there for 3-4 hours watching the game. Two, I really don't think we should get involved in how a business runs their business. I think, in my opinion, if I owned a business, I wouldn't want my employees parking right in front of the door where I want my customers to park.
I understand that.
I have more opportunity to sell my goods if I have open parking in front of my building. If my employees are taking it up, as a business owner, I'd be very unhappy.
I understand. And that's why I said I wanted to have the conversation here because, I mean, like years ago, when the hardware store was there, the end space right on Washington and State, that was like a 30 parking spot.
Right.
There was another couple of them. There was another, I think 2 more downtown on the other side of the street. So people had a place to come and go for takeout, right? I mean, but the majority of the businesses that are downtown now there's a lot of takeout. And the issue becomes, to your point, right? Like you want to go watch the game, great, go watch the game, that kind of thing. That's fine. But then you have a business owner or an employee of a business that's parked there for 8-10 hours to take, and then it deters the ability for, people with disability, people that can't walk, people that you know what I mean? It's far enough away and they're like, well, I'm not going to walk. I'll just go somewhere else.
But I don't think the village should get involved with telling how to run their business. And
I understand that, but we can also tell our users how they can park on our streets. I mean, it's not a matter of us trying to get involved in the business side of it.
The park district, is big on it.
what's that?
They've had 2 cars parked out front for the last year.
Oh, okay. Employee cars.
And then we have, to pick on our neighbor next door. I'm sure it'd be great that he put a lot of money into the business, but every day he shows up at 6 o'clock in the morning and parks his big white pickup truck right in front of Village Hall next to the ADA space. And people can't come in to pay water bills and stuff like that. Or they have to park across the street and stuff like that. And so, I mean, the solution, because originally this conversation started over some of the concerns and then, okay, where can we put 30-minute parking spots, right? So at least that always changes, right? But then you're picking and choosing where they go. Who gets a 30-minute parking spot and who doesn't? And you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know what the right answer is. And that's why.
Can we have?
Have we
Go
been
ahead,
receiving complaints by the community or, I mean, what's prompting the discussion? Is our staff being inundated with complaints about parking?
I don't want to say inundated, but it's a constant overtone when you talk to residents and when residents have complained here and then business owners have complained as well from almost every business, which is really funny considering that almost every business is allowing their employees to do it, but yet they're complaining about the other business. So I don't know what the right answer is, but yes, in answer to your question, they're not being inundated, but it's been enough that it's warranted the conversation.
It's growing.
Do we have an opportunity to hold a meeting with all the businesses and say, hey guys, here's what we're hearing from our residents. Can we not park on?
In realistic life, you can tell them whatever you want, they ain't gonna listen. Unless something's written down, signage or enforced, you know it and I know it, they ain't gonna listen. They won't listen.
I know, but I'm having a hard time understanding. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know in some communities, especially the closer you get to the city, where it's a denser population and parking is pretty limited, that you'll see signs that say like 2-hour parking limit from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. during whatever weekdays or whatever it may be. For when the businesses, when I guess normal business hours would be to help avoid that kind of situation. And then in the evening, it doesn't really matter because you have people like you were saying, Trustee Robinson, that may go to a restaurant and be there longer than 2 hours and they need to be able to find parking. But I have seen some communities where they have like time-based not time being 2 hours, but time being time of the day based parking restrictions for certain areas. And if the concern is that, maybe that's a consideration, but I mean, most of the businesses in this area that we're talking about do not operate an 8 to 5 business. So I don't even know if that applies here. Most of them are food establishments or, well, I mean, most are food establishments.
Well, and that's why I was originally thinking something along the lines of like something to go to like 7 o'clock at night, because that covers your dinner rush, and then anything after 7 o'clock, or even if you wanted to do 6 o'clock, that would allow people to get their takeout to bring home to their families to go eat. And then if you're parking at 6 o'clock at night, you could, before a game starts, to that end, you could stay the whole rest of the night, because after 6 o'clock, that conversation is null and void. I don't know what the right answer is.
I guess, and also if one of the concerns, and I completely understand this concern, is for those that need to physically be a little closer to the business because of a myriad of reasons. One thing and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to think directions here. West side of State Street, there's not one handicap spot on that side in any of the parallel spots, is there? All the handicap is on the, or ADA accessible is on the east side, requiring anybody that needs an ADA space to cross the street to visit any business on the west side. Would there be consideration of designating 1 or 2 spots on the west side as ADA focused spots? I mean,
The issue with that was when we did it, or with the parallel parking, is there was no opportunity to have a hashed area that was flush, if that makes sense, for opening the door and the van and the ramp, right?
The purpose is to have more room on the sides of your car, and if you parallel park, you can't get that room.
Right, and I'm not saying that we
Oh,
can't
yeah,
look
that's a
into
good
that
point.
further, but that was the consideration at the time. That doesn't mean that it,
yeah, no, that's a good point. That makes sense. It's a physical restriction based on where the sidewalk and the parking spot is.
and like I said, we don't have to do anything with this tonight. We could sit and chew on it, right? It doesn't matter to me. We don't have to give staff direction. But it was just a matter of this problem's not gonna go away the more our downtown grows. And so we need to figure out something that makes sense.
Are all the businesses members of the Chamber of Commerce?
We've tried that approach too.
Okay.
We asked the chamber to carry the water on this and have conversations with them, and they were very unwilling, and they said it was out of their lane to manage village parking restrictions, which
Not manage, but encourage good business practices.
I'm not speaking ill of Jeannie at all.
No.
She's doing a very good job. It was just not something that she felt that her
Okay.
group would be receptive to coming from her. So
So whose lane is this in to encourage good business practices?
ours.
Okay.
We've been talking about, this conversation has been ongoing since before Mary Jo got here. This has been something that we have worked with the chamber, we've worked with individual businesses. I mean, Chief, you've had to enforce some of the business to business complaints. We do have businesses that like to not play nice in the sandbox with each other. And so, I mean, this has been a constant undertone for a long time now, and it's getting to a head. Some businesses are celebrating anniversaries and having specials, and then other business owners are parking right in front of them, right in front of the store during the day on what would seemingly be like busiest days and that kind of thing. It's childish games that are happening down there.
That sounds like trying to
Right.
make this with children.
I can think of 4 or 5 owners that I know personally that park their cars out there all day long. Than personal cars.
So can I just, I want to build a connection to what we were discussing earlier with weather. And we said that, and there was a discussion about whether we should have an overnight parking ban because it taxes our police force to have to continually enforce it when there's not a weather event. If we were to put in some type of time-based restriction to try to ease or address concerns that have been lodged, doesn't that place a similar strain on the police force to have to identify which car has been in that spot for 2 hours? Did they move to another spot? Does that count over that time? Who do I give a ticket to? How do I prove they've been there for 2 hours over, whatever that restriction may be? Aren't we adding that additional stress we just talked about for overnight bans onto the police for a different parking reason?
The answer would be yes. The answer would be yes, but the difference in the conversation would be, there was a terminology that was explained to me by our former business development chair, development commission chair, about the fact that you put the signs up and you hope that the majority of people comply and are good residents, and then you deal with the people that are causing issues. And I don't know what that is, but it's in hopes. I mean, the example would be, we have no golf cart parking downtown. We have no golf cart parking in downtown on signs, right? How many tickets have you written for golf carts parking downtown? I mean, I don't know how to answer that, Trustee Kelly, but you're correct. And I don't know what to do with this. I really don't. That's why I brought it up for board discussion. And we don't have to make any decisions tonight, but this is an issue that's going on that I felt warranted a discussion amongst the board.
It's gonna get worse as more and more houses are being built.
And hopefully more and more businesses open up.
Yeah, but we're out of room down here. So more and more houses being built, that's more and more vehicles fighting for what spots we got. And if there's 6 or 8 owners of businesses taking up spots that somebody else could be using, they need to go into the public lots or on the side streets.
Well, and that, so to your point in that conversation, right? We have all of these public lots. We've talked about signage and trying to get people to park in the lots versus on State Street. That's been a conversation this board has had several times. The thought process I had, as it specifically relates to downtown parking, is to not restrict the spots along the railroad tracks and that kind of stuff. So this way that if you were going to come down and park downtown to watch the game, so it's using, I'm not picking on you, but using your example, that there are opportunities for you to park within walking distance, just not right in front of the place, maybe.
Right.
And,
Well, there are, yeah.
and so, and that would, and again, that would do what we were kind of always been trying to do, which is encourage our people that are going to go downtown and be downtown to use the public lots. I mean, how many times have we had that conversation here?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. But anyway,
So,
I think those,
so could
Go ahead.
we as a first step to be a good partner with our businesses downtown and to be open and transparent and to acknowledge the concerns that the community members have given to staff, send a letter to each of the businesses downtown, letting them know that, so we have something in writing, letting them know that we have received complaints from fellow business owners as well as community members regarding parking, and we know that many employees park out front all day, and we ask you to be good members of the community, and here's some great lots close by that we would ask that you encourage your employees to park at, not mandating anything, just trying to help encourage the behavior that we're hoping that they would do.
but it's worth a shot.
I mean, it's something, we could certainly draft a letter. That's definitely not an issue, and we can see where that goes. I tend to agree with Trustee Coates on this, that I think that it won't be worth more than the paper it's printed on, but maybe it'll help enough, right? For now. And then maybe we won't have to address it in the future for a while.
But our job is we were elected to make the best decision for the residents.
1,000%.
So I think this is a perfect start to the conversation.
I don't disagree.
And I can say, only because I have a platform up here, and not many people know about this issue, but we do. As a consumer, if I see every space is full, I'm not stopping at your business. You're not getting my money. I mean, this makes no sense to me. Why you would fill up your lot with employees? Like
why you'd fill up with the parking, why you'd allow. I'm telling, when I worked at the hardware store when I was in high school, Dean and Marge, man, they'd look outside and if your car was parked on State Street, they'd make you move it. Like you were not allowed to park on State, or if you worked the night shift, you were allowed to park on Washington. Okay, but you weren't allowed to park on Washington if you were working the day shift.
Go look at the majority of just stores. Go there before the stores open and just drive by the lot. Where are all the employee cars? In the back of the lot.
Yeah.
So
But
the
you have-
customers can have the front.
But you got between 6 and 8 owners, he just said, that are parking right in front of their businesses.
Right.
But the
That's 6 or 8.
The conversation has to begin sometimes, and when we put it in writing, then it makes it clear, hey, this is a discussion. We would love to have your input.
I agree, but
Resolve this issue.
if a business owner, is parking out in front of his business, he don't give a damn.
But this is step
You know,
one to start the
This is step
conversation.
one,
And you know what?
right.
This is where peer pressure comes into play.
So-
You know, if you've got some business owners who are advocating for, we want our customers to be able to park, we want our customers to be able to walk in, grab what they need, spend their money with us, and then move on, then we all have to be responsible. I personally actually cooked dinner tonight. I don't usually cook on Thursday nights because of these meetings, but because the last 2 meetings, I have driven around and around and around and around and around the block. And I've had like 2 minutes to eat because I spent so much time looking for a space. And I don't have time to do that. And I chose not to spend my money in town tonight because I couldn't find a spot. So I know exactly what we're talking about and how it impacts the dollars that are spent here, which means those are tax dollars that our residents are not having to pay for the services they're getting because our businesses are paying for them with their sales tax. So if you want us to take less money out of your pocket and you want to choose to spend it downtown so that we can get those sales tax dollars instead, move your car.
Yeah.
I think this is just step one.
Just kidding.
You didn't invite anybody else.
I know.
I think this is just step one in the process though. So down the line, if it happens to get to step 2 or 3 or 18, we can go back and say, look, businesses, we tried to resolve this. Now we have to go to this step because it's not resolved.
Right.
How long do
I
you want
think-
step 1 to go?
Well, I think that we put this out and
Here's your letter, figure it out.
I
No,
think,
you wanna give them 3 or 4 weeks?
I think once you get the letter, the owner should be like, all right, get your cars out of the state.
well, I think that we do,
Customers.
I think that we do what we normally do is set a time. So normally it's 6 months. 6 months, I think, would be too long in this instance.
No, we're gonna review this next month,
But, well, but that's my,
or whenever the letter.
but that's my point is this, so March 1st, is that what you're at
No.
here?
The first meeting of March, we should bring it back and talk about it after we've sent the letter. Because
You
that
think we
gives
can
them
get the letter out next week sometime?
that gives them the entire month of
It ain't
February
like
to
there's
figure it out.
400
We need
businesses.
an entire month. This is a 5-minute decision.
No, I
Yeah,
understand.
but
No,
I
no, no.
Wait till March
The
3rd.
problem, okay, so,
But I think you need to give them time to adjust and we need time to view it and see if we get any other complaints. So I don't think
Okay.
30 days is too much to ask.
so whatever that, just say that just in the letter, whatever our first meeting in March is, that date is when we're gonna bring it up for other discussion again, for further discussion. To give them a hard date so we can evaluate. Okay, perfect.
Can we also ask staff to investigate what neighboring communities do? And if there are any,
Say that again, I'm sorry.
what do neighboring communities do? And are there any,
Yeah. Like I'm thinking of the Huntley Square. There's a lot of businesses. What do they do? Where do
Yeah.
they make do they have their employees? Wow, what do they do?
I will do that.
Thank you.
And for the record, no, we're not putting in parking meters.
I'm gonna vote no on that.
No,
No, just, this is where the conversation goes, so,
right,
like, that's
I mean-
not a part of this conversation.
right. Some places have a 15-minute or a 30-minute parking. you know,
absolutely.
Right in front, the front space of every business or whatever, you know, like there's lots of different things we could do. What are those things?
Sure.
And let's start with asking adults to be adult.
Yeah, I
And let's see
appreciate
where it
that.
goes.
And I appreciate the conversation about this. Anything further on that? Or can we move into our next big discussion?
Excellent.
Discussion on changing the fiscal year budget to calendar year budget, and I'm going to ask trustee Kelly to kick this off.
Thank you very much. So, first, I just want to thank Mrs. Seehausen for all of her hard work in ensuring that the board was really educated on the topic that we're about to discuss by providing the background, the memo, doing all of the research, and sending, both the pros and the cons, about what would be affected or what would be the impact, I guess is the word, for changing a fiscal year budget. So the topic we're about to discuss, and then I'll hand it over to Ms. Seehausen to maybe recap what she had sent at a high level, is right now our calendar year budget, as we all know, is May 1st to April 30th every year. We call the fiscal year the year in which that budget year ends. So right now we're in fiscal year 26. Next year would be fiscal year 27. And the proposed topic for discussion tonight, which is important for us to discuss before we get into our budget committee meeting or meetings, is moving that so that this year we would still do the May 1st. That would be the start of the next fiscal budget, just as we've done, but it would run through December 31st because we would move our fiscal budget to a January 1st or calendar year budget. What you probably saw in there is that a lot of the financial obligations that we have to report on, that Ms. Lyons is held to do for state statute, runs on a calendar year basis. That's why December is always a really busy time for our meetings, and we end up with really long meetings. We have to do our tax levies, we have to do all of our financial stuff, and that has to be done because it's run on the calendar year, even though our budget is run on a May 1st fiscal year. The statutes are run on a calendar year. So this would help to align us to a lot of those motions. It would mean that we would end up with a May through December or about a 7-month budget year, and then we would go into a 12-month budget year. That was one of the options. The other option is, do you do an extended budget year, but it was felt that actually extended meaning May 1st, then the entire next calendar year. And the thought was it would be better to budget the May 1st through December 31st and then go from January 1st. For the budget committee, that would mean we do our normal budget committee process for this fiscal year or for the upcoming fiscal year. And then we would go back into budget committee meetings with the same work back plan, but for a January 1st start. So there would actually be 2 cycles this year that we would go through. So with that, again, Ms. Seehausen, you put a ton of work into this, and I'd like to turn it over to you to just at a high level recap pros, cons, and then open it up for discussion to the board.
Thank you, Trustee Kelly. You hit probably everything that was on here. I know there's a lot of information in here. And the stub year definitely would be my recommendation, that we do the short year, and we internally have been calling it 26.2. And then we will get into the next year. I'm just going to, because I know that you guys have had this for a couple days, and open it up if you have any questions for me.
I don't.
Thank you, Toby.
I think it's good because everything that we do expires in December. Like our liquor licenses.
That I would not do, and Lori and I have had a lot of conversation, like I'm not going to mess with our police contract. We did this changeover in my previous employer as well. And some of that stuff that we do for like uniforms and stuff is internal. It's not, doesn't have anything to do. So some of this work we won't have to do. But this would be very helpful just in talking about budget and tax years and all that stuff. If we were able, you would allow us to change it to a calendar year.
Can I ask, was our original intent with the May 1st because of the election cycle and when board members would take office? Because
Ask her. She's been here longer than.
It was probably this way when it was this way when you got here.
Oh, yeah, it was this way when I came. It's very common, honestly, for municipalities to be on a May 1 to April 30th. I really have no explanation as to why.
I was trying to find a reason why it was that way to begin with.
And some of them have July 1 too. I mean,
Right.
Well, school districts in the state are July 1.
Yeah,
But then the feds are October.
right.
I mean, everybody's just
John Deere's
picking a different
October.
time. So I just didn't.
It doesn't make any sense. And for everything that we do.
January sounds great.
Yeah. So, and then like the other carrot in this, right? Like, can I share about the business system or the thoughts with that, or do you guys
I'm sorry, say that
like the business system and doing the stopgap budget?
It's TMI.
No,
Go ahead.
no, it's fine. You shake your head no.
No, go ahead.
So the thought is that we have two business systems at the current time. One's not fully in, right? We've talked about this. And so staff's been really, really working on trying to move things over and everything. This puts a clear line in the sand. So we can do our temporary budget or 26.2 in the old system. And
Next
then we
time,
can-
they're gonna move to time.
and then when the new budget starts, everything for the new budget in the December or January 1 is in the new business system with off the old one. So we're killing two birds with one stone. Because there's really no commingling. It's just, we're to start fresh in the new one.
And I'm super excited.
And how much redundancy are we planning for
What do you mean?
between those systems to make sure that the new system is actually functioning?
Well, they'll handle that. I mean, they're gonna be running them, they're gonna run
Okay.
it, they're gonna run them right next to each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
it's not,
that's
we're
what I'm
gonna,
talking about.
yeah,
I mean, when we roll things over, we'll be doing all that check so that we have that,
Okay.
okay?
Yep.
Numbers will match.
Tomorrow and.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
The new system.
at
and-
some point, we have to,
Good.
at some point, we have to launch the new ERP and system that I mean, this was a couple of years ago that we voted to implement and do this, so even if we didn't move the budget, this needs to get done.
Correct.
But I think this also presents even more of a forcing function to speed up that process.
any questions?
Mm-mm.
You guys are the best.
Yeah,
Can't wait for this.
can I just ask as the budget chair, can we just get a temperature of the board? Like, how are you feeling on the change? Is it
Go ahead and
something that you
start
would
this
support?
It's the vote.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
we don't, there's no vote. This is a discussion.
Yeah,
so-
just a discussion if I have the authority to go.
Yeah, yes, you do.
Yes.
Yeah, do it. You have no opposition.
Huh?
There will be.
There will be a vote, so I will bring back all the legislation that you guys have to vote on. I just didn't want to go through that process if, you know, we want to do that. And this way, when we start our May 1 thing, will be going this way. So we have a good temperature here, Trustee Kelly.
Great. Thank you all so much for having the
Thank you.
discussion, Ms. Seehausen and Ms. Lyons for all the work, and Budget Committee, thank you in advance because we're going to be meeting a lot this year.
Let's get comfy.
Okay. We don't have anything for old business today. We have some staff reports here. We have the building report, police report, financial report, and streets report.
Mo, you want to handle the building report?
Yes, I can. So just the biggest thing is that we exceeded the number of new single-family homes that we expected. We typically expect about 150 each year. We exceeded that amount, close to 200, I believe. So that's good news, and more neighborhoods are coming online with Prairie Ridge North with the different builders. Crown is putting in the infrastructure. So we expect to, you know, hopefully see exceeding numbers again for 2026.
Can I ask you a question on the building report, Mr. Khan?
Yes.
There were some comments in one of the Facebook communities that there were survey markers and it looked like work being done out near Tuscany too. Do you know if that project's kicking off soon, or are we starting to see developer movement out there?
We do expect that to come in 2026. They're doing preliminary engineering work right now. So that's what the stakes are for, the surveying and all, for the lots. So we do expect them to come in for final plats of subdivisions for each of the neighborhoods or the phases they're going to do in Tuscany Woods 2 sometime in spring 2026.
Survey for 2 months.
Okay, great, thanks.
The police report is fantastic. Thank you for the legislative updates.
I do have a question on the police report. Assist in neighboring communities. While each year it's gone, well, 23 was low, 24 was high, but 251, is that 251 separate calls to assist a neighboring community?
Yes.
Is it a specific neighboring community?
No. It's either, I mean, primarily it's Pingree or Kane County. I mean, that would include Kane County, which, you know, so we have a lot of pockets where we're assisting the county. So that's counted in the numbers. And we also have a few in Huntley. And sometimes McHenry County, even if it's super close and they have someone a really long ways away, but typically it's either Kane or Pingree.
Okay. Can I share what happened yesterday?
Sure.
So, the, police chief and lieutenant and the whole department has been working really hard to get the police department accredited. Where you have an outside agency come in and evaluate your police department to make sure that you have metrics and goals that you have to attain to receive accreditation. And it's like a badge of honor, for lack of better terminology, that basically says that your police department has its act together and does what it says it's going to do and is following all state laws and all of the policies, and you guys are an exemplary police department. Like 30,000 foot overview for anybody that wouldn't understand, right? Am I missing anything?
Well, I mean, I think the most important piece of that is it's not, and not to take away from what you said, but it's not about the badge of honor. It's really about making sure that our policies are best practiced and our policies are in compliance with state, federal, local laws, and that we're following our policies. It's the operational piece to say, yes, we have these policies in place and we're following them. And we're going to be able to prove we're following them, not just now, but into the future too.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, the gentleman came out from the agency and evaluated all of our steps and metrics. There were 69 metrics that had to be met. And we met every single metric, and there were only 4 changes that needed to be made. And the changes were some dates on some policies. And so he did an evaluation of the police department, went through all the policy manual books, did a ride along at the police department, did a bunch of interviews. Myself and Mary Jo were interviewed as well. And he said that we should be extremely proud of our police department and the work that they're doing over there, and other police departments can learn from what it is that we're doing here. And I say we, the collective we, what they are doing there, right? Like that, but like we don't do much with the PD at this board, right? It's all.
They shouldn't.
And so my point being, my point is that it was very good to hear that somebody from the outside would come in and say all these nice things and be able to back up everything that they're doing over there. And so I just wanted to give you and your staff credit. There's more to come on that. So they write up their report. It's going to take a month or so maybe. And then the board will meet down there, and then they'll decide if the department's worthy enough to get accreditation. I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to make it, and then we will be accredited. Not every single police department in the state is accredited.
Most of them.
Most aren't. So it's
Federal government availability.
See, well, I'll qualify that actually, because there is talk with the progressive changes that are made at the state level lately, with police accountability, and the Safety Act, and the state is moving in the direction. There's lots of discussions about attaching accreditation to mandatory accreditation to grant funding. However, there's nothing proposed. There's nothing on the books or anything like that now. But that is something that's probably going to come in the future. So this puts us in a good position as that comes in.
Like I said, so often all we hear is the negative, and so it's nice to highlight some of the positive, and you guys are doing a great job.
It's Jim Neblock.
I called him.
Really, yeah. Huh?
I called him and congratulated him.
Good.
Told him good job.
He did it. It's something when I did my initial interview, I said that I wanted to be accredited here. And so it was my vision to get to this point, but Jim really took us there. About the last year and a half, he's been working on it, so it's really a big undertaking. Got it done.
So more to come on that. And I think that the gentleman will be coming to give a presentation to the board if and when they vote and all of that stuff, so you'll get a more in-depth explanation as to what it is, but it was pretty exciting yesterday to hear, so thought I would share. Do we have any questions on the financial or street reports this evening? Hearing none. Mr. Kelly, do you have anything for Business Development Commission?
Business development met last night. I was unfortunately, due to travel at work, unable to attend. Mr. Khan, were you able to attend, or Ms. Seehausen, so you can report?
Yes, I was able to attend the meeting. As Mr. Kelly stated, the BDC met last night. The primary discussion was the comprehensive plan RFP, or request for proposal. The BDC went through draft RFP and made some changes, and I will be revising that for presenting that back to the BDC for further discussion. And then once that is done, staff will work on with the budgeting of that potential project and then moving forward from there.
All right. Thank you very much. Announcements?
Yeah, I just have one. We probably should sing happy birthday to
That's what I'm talking about. Professional segue.
And somebody want to film the color red she's turning?
I think they match. It matches the color of those plates right there. Why would we need plates?
I'm not sure.
Where did the?
You started this.
Hold on, you
I did
gotta.
not start. You guys are
And I
all.
believe today is your actual birthday. It's not even close to it. It is your birthday.
Today's your
It's
actual
my
birthday?
birthday. Yeah,
Wow, happy birthday.
thank you.
Who's the guy with the glasses?
Did you know you share a birthday with Martin Luther King Jr.?
I do.
I'm sure you did know that.
Oh, wow.
All right, happy birthday to you. Thank you, Mary Jo. Happy birthday to you.
Lord.
Swell for
Many.
yeah.
Holy crap. Crap here.
16, huh?
Yep. It says so.
16. We didn't get you most of it. It looks.
Oh, wait, there's a motorcycle outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Parked-
and when
The business owners parked in front of their business.
She likes working here.
Oh my God, I love this place.
All right. Okay, I don't have any other announcements other than happy birthday again and thanks for what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
happy
for
birthday.
letting me be here.
Oh, I have an announcement.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, dear Hampshire residents, please tune in this Tuesday,
This
the
Tuesday.
20th of January at 6:30 p.m. to watch our very own Steve Knapp, who is going to be a contestant on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, wow.
And is not only a resident of Hampshire, but also the nephew of a trustee and the former student of this trustee.
Really?
Really.
If you really want, he's having a private viewing at the place and
Because his
Elton on Randall by the McDonald's.
Oh,
Old,
but
old,
just, you know, tune in and cheer him on. He's not allowed to tell us how he did. So
he has a
we'll
12
have to
bean, I'm
find
a
out.
relic.
You know, he did call me at like 10 minutes to 9 one night just to tell me. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's, that is awesome.
And to watch, it would be very exciting. And, you know, he does issue a shout out to our lovely community. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just want to tell you that. Also, go Bears. Sorry.
No, speaking of Bears, have we heard a response from the Bears?
No.
Okay.
Did we even get the shame that they got the letter yet?
And we haven't, which
Oh, it was certified.
isn't done.
Yeah, we sent it certified, so we knew that.
I
they got
sent it for certified official receipt.
Awesome. And they haven't.
Was it
received
building stuff?
Now, but that with the post office, it's not clear on it. I will pull the postage receipt and, look up and see if I can see where it's at.
The person that's most excited about the Bears game this weekend is Mary Jo.
Hey, we let you have it. We did not show up.
Let,
Yeah. We didn't show up the second
Your
or
birthday,
the
I'll be
fourth
nice.
quarter.
your birthday, I'll be nice.
It's a long drive to Green Bay. Good thing third quarter.
We do have executive, but we'll slice up some cake first. So motion to, recess to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Questions, comment? Roll call vote, please.
Give me 2 seconds here. Who was that? Fodor.
Voter first, Robinson second.
Okay, Mrs. Fodor.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Coe,
Aye.
and Mr. Wilkinson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Khan, do you have the, executive session link set up so Mr. Kelly can join us, or is Mr. Kelly joining us for executive? I should have asked.
I mean, if it's possible, I will. I didn't know if we were doing a video or if I was unable, because usually it's just in the room, so.
Oh, you can attend remotely.
Can we just ask everybody to leave?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can, but we have to have a separate record. There has to be a separate thing. So if it's not set up, we will call you, Mr. Kelly.
Not you,
I do not have it set up, so I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, we'll call you when we get into executive, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. We can try it that way again.
I'll tell them we're having
I
cake
can do a
first.
Zoom.
Yeah, we can, we'll hook you up through team. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
We'll get
you a
virtual piece of cake.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll
You virtually have some frosting.
Unless you can watch us eat it.